Welcome to Present Scholar Perspectives, where we spotlight voices from CSULB's most prestigious merit-based scholarship. The scholarship is awarded to individuals that demonstrate exceptional leadership potential, commitment to community service, and innovative thinking. In this show, we'll get to know some of these present scholars and dive into their unique insights and perspectives on a variety of topics. I'm your host, Vince Norga, Associate Director for the University Honors Program and Administrator for these talented scholars. Join us as we celebrate their journeys and explore the impacts that they are prepared to make in our communities and beyond. Joining me today is Business Management major Alexandra Gariby Murillo and Biology major Diego De Luna. Hello, scholars. How are you both doing?
Doing okay.
I'm amazing. So
awesome. I'm doing good as well. So why don't we dive into it? We will start with maybe Diego. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how it is being in your major of biology? And I know it's a longer title, but how has it been so far?
I enjoy my major, but like school in general. I enjoy right now in class like chemistry. I feel like I've learned these things kind of in high school already, but it's a nice way to kind of for me to kind of relearn everything. But also I kind of feel that I can focus and like kind of engage in my lab and just in class a lot more than I would in high school. I really enjoy my major class.
Okay, awesome. How about you, Alexandra?
So far it's been pretty good. I'm just still trying to get, adjusted to college and all of that. One of my favorite classes might be calculus because I feel like I get the information a lot better because it's very like straightforward. So that's like one of my favorite classes so far. Another class I'm taking is accounting. It can be a bit of a struggle, not going to lie, but I'm getting through it. I'm pushing through it. Yeah.
All right, that's great. So this is both your first year, right?
Yeah.
In college? Okay, so when did you kind of determine that you wanted to actually go to a university itself?
I'll go first. Okay. I feel like ever since a little kid, I've, with immigrant parents, my parents kind of always wanted me to go to college. They were always like, we kind of came over here in search of a better life, but not only for us, but also for our children. So ever since I can just understand that, I've always had like the dream of going to college or going to a university. And that's just kind of where it started, and it's never gone away.
Nice. How about you?
I feel like mine is really similar to what you said because I have immigrant parents, like they came from Mexico here. I felt like I needed to go to college because, their sacrifices and all that they've done for me. I just really felt that it was the least I could do. Another reason why I chose to go to college is because I always knew what I wanted to do. I kind of always okay, this is a path I need to take to get to where I want to be. And part of that path is college. So that's...
Okay, and you knew that as a young child that you wanted to do
I always knew what I wanted to do.
Okay, and you both kind of mentioned that you might be first-generation students. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, how was that in the application process, being the first kind of like in your families to go to university?
I feel really proud. Like, I guess it's a pride because most of my dad's family lives in Mexico. So they actually saw me graduate high school, and I was the first person in that family to graduate high school. So I thought it was really cool. And then obviously going to college, now I'm the first person to go to college, and I feel you're prideful and like carry your family's like last name and just carry your like your family, like what they had to endure, like the entire like in history or like recent history, like migrating. So in like the application process, you kind of feel cool in a way to like always check off that box. So yeah, first gen, and like you're proud of it.
Nice. How are you, Tim?
For me, I as well felt really proud to kind of like be that path because, you're opening doors not only for yourself, but like for future generations. Like you're the first person in the family. For me, like I have older siblings and they did go to college, but it's not for like what I wanted to pursue in the future. And so it was a little bit difficult trying to like navigate like both like different types of applications and all of that. But I did receive a lot of support from not only like my counselors, but my teachers, and they kind of like helped me pave the way towards like my goal, which was to come to college.
Nice. Okay, so you had counselors, teachers that kind of helped you through the application process. Did you have anything similar like that?
Yes. So in high school, I went to a relatively small high school, so we had like 3 counselors, like a college career specialist, a normal high school counselor, and then like a social worker. But they all kind of did the same job. They all kind of like, push you to go to college, to finish your applications. And they always gave you advice. They always helped you with the application process. If you needed any help or you had a question on it, like they were there. And if not, if they couldn't answer the question, they would help you contact the institution that we applied to, and they would help you get the answer that you needed.
Awesome. Great. Now, how about your selection of a university? How did you end up determining that Cal State Long Beach was where you wanted to actually go for your undergraduate degrees?
For me, like one of the main reasons why I chose Cal State Long Beach was financial aid. It was a really big thing for me. My parents, because they didn't go to college, they didn't know about like the application process and how much money it actually takes to go to college. So part of the reason why I chose Cal State Long Beach was, one, because of financial aid, and I felt like it was a good financial decision not only for me but for my family. I didn't want like my parents taking on, student debt with me, and I didn't want to graduate with student debt. So that was one of the reasons why I came here. Another reason I decided to come to Cal State Long Beach was the registration process in order to register for classes. Because of the honors program, I get priority registration. So that was a really big thing for me. I didn't want to I had seen students like on social media saying like how difficult it is to get your classes, and the actual professors that you want, it's really difficult. So that was another big factor for me. Yeah.
I feel like for me, I came here because it was more of the affordability, and how close it is to home. I'd probably say if when I was kind of choosing where I wanted to go, I kind of wanted to stay close to home. I probably would have got homesick if I didn't stay too close. But also, like, again, the affordability. I want to be a doctor after graduation, so just like Alexandra, I didn't want to get in student debt this early into school. So because the affordability, I believe that it would have been just so much easier to not spend as much money. And then I committed to this university before even receiving any scholarship. So it was already my choice. And then just after, it was like 2 weeks before graduation, I was informed that I got a scholarship to come here. So I'm like, even better, like I made the right choice.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah. For me, like I literally waited till the very last day to commit because I was so indecisive. I was like, should I come here? Should I go somewhere else?
I'm assuming you had a lot of opportunities probably to go elsewhere.
Yeah. But ultimately, I think this was a better option for me, and I actually really liked it here. So,
well, I'm glad that you're with us because I think you made the right choice. So I know both of you are in the honors program and have the scholarship. And the whole application behind that is a separate application than actually applying to the university. Now, how did you navigate to knowing that you wanted to do honors and actually try for the scholarship?
For me, it was because I have an older brother that comes here. He's a 3rd year this year. He actually applied to the honors program, so I kind of had already gotten a little bit familiar with it because he had said it's a really good program. You get prior to registration and all of that. And so that was the reason why I kind of knew about the honors program. And then just navigating that entire process, I remember sitting I would literally almost not on purpose. I would kind of skip class to go to my counselor's office so she could read my essays because I was I need to nail this essay in order for me to get into the honors program and specifically President Scholars. When I actually didn't know about the President Scholarship, not going to lie. I'd search it up when I found that out. But navigating that process, it was really difficult because I want everything to be perfect and all of that. So it was a bit of a struggle, but I pulled through.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, same thing. So actually, ever since was in middle school, I've always been put into honors courses. So when I found out Long Beach had a honors program, I was like, that's super cool. Let's continue staying on honors as long as I can, right? So that's just kind of one of the main reasons why. But same thing, I didn't necessarily join because of the scholarship. I kind of joined because I'm okay, I get like individual classes, but also not individual classes, but like smaller class sizes. And as well as prior to registration, like that's a big thing because then you get to choose the classes, not necessarily that you need, but the ones that like you want in order to kind of get to your the finish line of getting your bachelor's degree.
No, all right. Well, let's switch gears just a little bit, because part of our talk today, kind of wanted to get to know more about your generation, right? Because you're just starting college and stuff, and there's kind of talks going around that registration in terms of colleges in general for your generation is declining. So do you happen to have any peers or friends that you might have had that decided not to go to college, and what was that like in terms of your want to go to college and maybe they didn't want to go to college?
So for me, I'll say some of my friends from elementary and middle school, they didn't go to college, not only because it wasn't affordable for them, but also because it didn't kind of like match their career plan. And today, like the typical college seen today by our generation isn't necessarily needed anymore. But I know that, for example, my best friend, he's going to a trade school, but it's not necessarily by choice. It was more because of affordability and what he wanted to do. And that's the same thing with a lot of my other like middle school friends. They went to a community college, but not for associate's degree. They just went for a certificate for like a job that they want later on. Okay, so like direct trade schools. Exactly. That sounds like it was like more. How are you?
Kind of what backing up to what Diego said. I have a lot of friends that did go to college, but like community college, and I have friends that like know people that didn't go to college. I think I know like 1 or 2 people maybe, but part of that reason would be also like financial aid, like the affordability of college and all of that. That some students just don't feel like it's worth it if you're going to college and you're doing all the work. It's really difficult to find a job after. So like if you don't have those like networking connections and all of that, it's like, why go to college if I'm not even like necessarily guaranteed a job? And then another reason might also be like from my perspective is burnout. Like students, like the workload that you have to like get through, not only like in middle school, like but also high school. Like if you're also taking special AP classes and honors classes and all of that, can get really like overwhelming that students just want to like kind of like get it over with and just like take a break for a little bit.
I see. Do you feel like either of you feel that the time during COVID kind of would play into that factor of like a burnout? Or
I feel like not for burnout, but I feel like COVID did really affect a lot of my friends for like just going to university. I know a lot of them were unfortunately impacted like financially because of it. And immediately after COVID, I know a few of them went to go straight just working to help like their family like financially, which is I think another reason why they didn't want to go to college, or not that they didn't want to, but they couldn't, because now that they had a job, they were able to financially help their family, which they probably need. So I think that's another large reason why they just couldn't come to college.
Okay, all right. Well, just kind of quickly, I wanted to get to know what your hopes are for your future after you graduate. What jobs do you plan on both doing?
For me, like ever since I was little, I've always wanted to be a lawyer. So hopefully in the next coming years, I'll be going to law school.
Awesome.
So with biology as my major, ever since a little kid, I've always wanted to be a surgeon, or specifically now I want to be a neurosurgeon, which I know is a lot of school. But so after I want to apply to medical school, or also possibly just research in stem cells or cancer.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for both of you being here today and sharing your perspectives on today's topic. So we will be taking a short break, and when we return, we'll be discussing life after graduation here on Present Scholar Perspectives.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. One in 3 adults has prediabetes, and you could be one of them. There are usually no signs for prediabetes, so it's important to understand your risk. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. And you can change the outcome. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
We're back. Next on Present Scholar Perspectives, we'll discuss life after graduation and the impact of achieving an undergraduate degree. Joining me is Present Scholar alumni Joseph Porges and Hope Daley-Babbitt. How are you both doing today?
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you are here and joining me today. So why don't we get into the obvious? What have you been doing since graduation? We'll start here with Hope.
Yeah, so graduated Cal State Long Beach in 2018 with a mechanical engineering degree. And after college, started working at Chevron at the El Segundo refinery, which isn't too far from campus, and started off my career as a mechanical design engineer, working in piping and equipment design for the refinery. Then I rolled into a reliability engineering role, got to work on overall plant reliability at the El Segundo refinery, and then moved into a talent management advisor role where I supported competency and career development for over 900 facilities engineers at our 5 U.S. refineries. And now I just transitioned to a reliability engineering team lead role. So back doing some reliability engineering, which is great. And I guess just in my free time, doing a lot of traveling, both domestically and internationally. Just got back from a trip to Iceland and Croatia. So
Wow, Iceland and Croatia. What was the weather like?
Iceland was cold and Croatia was nice and sunny. So
Nice.
very two extremes.
Balance it out.
Yeah,
Perfect.
there you go.
How about you, Joe? What have you been up to?
Yeah, so I graduated with a degree in marine biology, started my career off as a science education teacher for about a year, realized that wasn't the perfect fit for me, and so then I pivoted to an environmental consulting role for industrial businesses, doing site inspections, permitting, hazardous materials, wastewater sampling, things like that. And then had an opportunity open up at a large commercial insurance company to be an environmental underwriter. And that basically just involves risk analysis for clients of insurance brokers who need insurance policies to cover pollution-related incidents. And so I just do the risk analysis for that, maintain relationships, get to travel and, kind of do some fun lunches, little visits here and there at conferences and things like that. And in my free time, a lot of beach volleyball. A lot of travel as well, domestically and internationally, and just spending time with the local community and at my church, and just enjoying life, building my community here in Orange County where I live.
Awesome. I'm glad that you could continue on the beach volleyball because I know as a student you were doing that a lot too as well, right?
Yeah. More on the indoor side, and then just pivoted to beach a few years ago and haven't looked back. A lot more playing time when there's only 2 of you on the court versus 6 or 7 of you. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I know both of you were mentioning a lot of different things and roles that you've taken on over the years since graduation. And I wanted to ask, in those different roles, how did you figure out that it was time to kind of transition, and what was that like, doing those different transitions? We'll start here.
I guess in the engineering space, there's like limitless things to learn. I know in school we learn so much, and then I moved to the job, and it's you get the foundation in school, and there's a lot of different things that you learn in the workplace. So I think for me, transitioning into new like gigs or jobs was a lot of like a timing thing, and when the opportunities came about. So as I transitioned from mechanical engineering to reliability engineering, the opportunity presented itself from going to like scope that was really focused on the equipment that I was working on to moving outwards to understand more of the strategic focus of the refinery that I work at and the equipment that we run. So I guess a lot of my transitions were kind of moving out to get a bigger picture view of what I was working on before.
Okay, so you're just kind of expanding backwards to see the overall picture.
Yeah.
Great. How about you, Joe?
So in school here at Cal State Long Beach, I was more on the molecular research side of things. And right before I graduated, I realized that wasn't the path for me. And desired more interaction with people than what I was getting in that current role. So after college, I just realized I had a lot of transferable skills from what I picked up here, and that I could just see what opportunities arose. And so that led to the teaching role, which really started the realization of step through open doors that seemed to provide an opportunity for a job that fits my brain and how my brain works really well. And so teaching just didn't seem to fit that super well. And then environmental consulting did that pretty well, but still felt like it was missing the growth opportunity in the future. It felt like where I was at specifically that I would maybe hit a dead end sooner than I wanted to. And I just wanted to be able to continue learning, continue growing. And so the opportunity I have now as an environmental underwriter really provided and it continues to provide a lot of opportunities for new connections, a lot of growth. And it just works really well with how I like to work. I like to have my head on a swivel, pivot, new projects. Every day is something different. It's never a broken record. And I just get to continue to learn and be supported by a lot of awesome management at my company. So I feel like I found the place that I can grow, be loyal to a company for an extremely long time, hopefully my career, since it's one of the biggest invest. And so that's where I've landed. It was really just pivoting with finding something that worked well with how I like to work on the day-to-day.
Nice. And you mentioned skills, which I think is an interesting thing to talk about a little bit. In your undergraduate careers, did you find any kind of specific things that helped develop those skills that you use today?
Yeah. So I think I realized that in college, for most people, you can choose what you want to be involved with to a degree, right? For some folks, that's more than others. And you can kind of make the most out of your time, what you want to make out of it to a certain extent. And so the experiences I had in college with like a different internship or a job or research or studying abroad provided experiences more akin to the real world. And that on top of the knowledge and skills I picked up, whether it be like working on computer software or biostatistics or just pure biological research knowledge, became really transferable from like a hard sciences and skills standpoint to be able to just take with me wherever I went, because each job, even though they were really different in nature, continued to allow me to apply those skills and keep them fresh. And so I've been really fortunate to have a few different careers at this point, if you will, even though they've been short-lived, where I've been able to apply those skills and just keep pivoting and knowing with confidence that the transferable skills I picked up would allow me to do that if the right door opened up and just the timing seemed good and it seemed a good fit for me.
Nice. How about you?
Yeah, I think kind of jumping off that, you talked about like some technical skills that you learned like real world. And I think like my engineering degree really helped me in that space. But I think one of the things I really want to highlight too is while you're in college, and I think this is something the President's Scholars Program allowed me to do, was get really involved with student organizations. So on top of like the classroom work and the group work we did there, I was really involved with the Society of Women Engineers, and we did a lot of planning of outreach events to middle school and high school students, and also events to help people with career planning. And through that, I think you got a lot of those interpersonal skills that you really need in the workplace to help plan and coordinate events, get a project done, that you can't really learn in the classroom. You got to learn by doing. So those are skills that I use every day. You're working with so many different personalities and you want to make sure you're communicating the right message across. So I think the times that I had here at Cal State Long Beach really set me up for success in that sense.
Okay, it really helped with the leadership role that you currently are doing then, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the communication aspect too, to even bounce off of that, it's a really good point. I think it's a skill that most individuals don't think they need to focus on, because our classes, unless you take a specific speech-related class like interpersonal communication or public speaking, isn't necessarily focused, like most of your undergrad career or education isn't focused on communication, but in the real world, it pays dividends. It opens up doors. It allows you to network more efficiently. And that really is oftentimes achieved outside the classroom. I think in your undergrad, it's through whatever experiences you can get involved in. And even just like a job fair, let's say, you just pick up practice on how to speak to strangers. And in the workforce, there's people who leave positions and then people who enter positions, different management roles that open up, and then different career opportunities that you hop into, and you're always going to be meeting new people. And it just pays dividends having the ability to speak to others. It doesn't have to be oftentimes what folks think, like you got to be perfect at it. It's just, can you just kind of have a conversation? And it seems maybe like something people don't value or think about as often as they should, but picking up those skills is really helpful. So just to add to that point.
Yeah, that's super awesome to add.
Yeah. Thinking about other things as well as kind of like one of the hot topics kind of going around today is that admissions and stuff to universities is kind of dwindling a little bit. So do you think if you were to talk to like a younger version of yourself that was maybe about to enter college, would you still tell them, yeah, go through with this? Would you tell them to do something else? What what would be that kind of message you would give to a younger version of yourself?
I think the easy answer, especially in the field that I am in, like the answer is yes. If you want to be an engineer, you got to go to school to get your degree, to get that foundation. I'm actually in a university recruiting for the company that I work for on top of my regular job. So I interact with a lot of the students, and you can see that what they're learning, and when they come to the workforce, they still need that foundation, that understanding in order to learn new things and apply what they know on the job. So I think my easy answer is yes, but you think?
I think so too. And I think to the point, it is maybe career based, but I've found even from like younger siblings, friends who maybe they did or didn't pursue an undergraduate career or even get their AA at a community college, that there is a little bit more of an uphill battle to climb. You know what, I think in job interviews post-college, I think my GPA was going to be so valued. Like, wow, that's the first thing they're going to point out when they see me. We're so glad you applied because of this GPA. And that's important, to get your good grades, and it's a reflection of what you learn. But it was more just the basis of we know from a program like at Cal State Long Beach, what you went through, like an engineering program or a biological sciences program, especially in the regional area where businesses would know about the requirements to graduate from that kind of program. There's just an automatic assumption about ability that is, I think it's just inherent in people's perspective of you on top of the skills that you do pick up. And for me personally, where I grew up compared to where I live now, coming to school here and having opportunities to learn really shaped my life dramatically compared to, I think, what could have happened if I didn't pursue a degree here. So it's just changed my life path drastically.
Nice. Now, kind of working off that, now that your younger self is in college, what would be one thing that you might tell them that you wish that you did while you were still here, that you wish that a younger version of you would take advantage of or do while here in?
I totally have an answer. I was just talking about this with someone yesterday. Take a business class if you're able to. I think there are a lot of things in the real world, and this was before even the job I work in now, which is a little bit more businessy, but I was more on the scientific, environmental side before that, and the education side. Just knowing how the parts of the postgraduate world work, terminology, and then you never know where your life path's going to take you. If you do decide to start a business, or even just learning about financial things in general. I didn't have an upbringing where that was spoken about just in the general conversation with siblings or friends or anything. And I had folks recommend to me in college at different events, just take a business class if you have the credits and the time available to not delay your graduation. And I was like, yeah, maybe. And then I studied abroad instead. And that was fun, and it gave me a lot of skills. But I do think the business class would definitely be helpful. And it's taken a lot longer to pick up that knowledge. And I haven't even probably picked up everything I would have had I taken a business class here. So that's kind of a specific recommendation I'd have.
Nice.
And maybe be less anxious. You're going to be fine. Yeah.
Be less anxious, of course. It's always easier to say once you're done with something.
Yeah, it's so true though. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you made a good point on the business thing. I think while I was at Cal State Long Beach, and because I had time, because the President's Scholars Program allowed me, I picked up an econ minor.
Oh, nice.
And that, I didn't need to do it, but in my current job as a reliability engineer, I actually utilize that. And as we look at things strategically, we're looking at the econs of things. So it kind of helps build that foundation. But kind of to your point too about taking advantage of what's here, I think as a student, you're too caught up in everything, and you don't really take advantage of all the resources that are on campus. And maybe looking back at it, it's something I should have done is utilizing the Career Center, utilizing mentors through the President's Scholars Program to help set you up for your career. I think everyone thinks about that way too late. Right. They're senior year and they're like, oh shoot, I need to get an internship. And you're like, oh, my resume is not prepared. And there's so many resources at the Career Center, within each of the colleges, within the President's Scholars Program that people could be utilizing, but maybe they're too focused on hey, my GPA is super important right now, but it's a balance of all of that. Mm-hmm. And I guess on the fun side too, the less anxious thing, I think I spent too much time in the library when I was here, when maybe I should have been soaking up some other opportunities that were available.
Oh, well, it's always hard. And I always tell every student that come in, I try to give these helpful tips, but no one ever kind of hears until the end. I wish I had the time traveling machine to be able to bring, your future yous back to talk to you.
Right.
But thank you both for coming and being here today. It's interesting, very, very great to see what you've been up to since graduation and stuff, and I hope we'll see you again soon. But that is our time for today, and we hope to see you all next time on Present Scholar Perspectives.